The mission begins. The sun was setting behind the tall trees. The sky turned orange and red. A soft wind moved through the leaves, making a strange sound, like a whisper. Lyra walked slowly through the forest. She wore a black suit, light but strong. Her boots made soft sounds on the wet ground. She was alone. No one else was allowed in this zone. This was a forbidden place. The trees were taller than any building she had seen. Their roots were thick, like arms crawling out of the earth. She looked around carefully. Every step felt dangerous. Every sound made her heart beat faster. Lyra checked her wrist device. The signal was weak, blinking red. Still no connection, she whispered to herself. She was sent on a solo mission to search for something lost many years ago. A government drone had gone missing in this forest. No one came back after entering this area. But Lyra had volunteered. She was brave, maybe too brave. Suddenly, she stopped. There was something on the ground, a broken drone. It was old, covered in mud and leaves. But she knew the model. It was from the lost team. She knelt beside it, brushing dirt away. The metal was torn not by rust, but by claws. "What did this?" she asked in a quiet voice. She looked up. The forest was too quiet now. No birds, no bugs, no wind. Lyra stood quickly and turned around. Nothing. But she felt something. She walked again, faster this time. Her eyes kept moving. The trees seemed to move too, like they were watching her. Then snap! She screamed as a sharp metal trap closed on her leg. She fell to the ground hard, pain shooting through her body. Blood dripped on the leaves. Lyra cried out. She tried to open the trap, but it was tight. Felt old, rusty, but strong. She hit it with a stone. Nothing. She was stuck. Tears filled her eyes. Not from pain, but fear. "No, not like this," she said. The sun was almost gone. Darkness covered the forest. Cold air wrapped around her. She looked up at the sky. Stars began to appear. Bright, silent, far away. She took a deep breath. "If anyone, or anything is out there, please help me. I don't want to die here." She closed her eyes. Then footsteps. Soft, slow, getting closer. Her eyes opened wide. Crunch, crunch. Someone or something was walking on the dry leaves. "Who's there?" she shouted, voice shaking. No answer. She grabbed a stick, ready to fight. Her leg was still trapped, but her hands were free. The sound came closer. Then, out of the shadows, a man appeared. He was tall, wearing an old dark coat. His face was hidden in the night. He didn't speak. "Help me!" Lyra shouted. The man walked closer. He looked down at the trap, then at her face. "You don't belong here," he said in a calm voice. "Please, I'm stuck. Can you open it?" The man knelt beside her. With one hand he touched the trap and it opened. Just like that. Lyra gasped. "How did you?" "Be quiet," he said. He took out a small bottle and poured liquid on her wound. It burned, but the bleeding stopped. Lyra looked at him closely. His skin was pale. His eyes didn't blink much. Something felt off. He stood up. "Follow the lights. Don't leave the path. And never speak to the trees," he said. Then he turned and walked away into the dark. "Wait! Who are you?" she shouted. But he was gone. Silence again. She looked down. A small light flickered near a tree. Then another. Tiny floating orbs, like stars on the ground. She stood slowly, holding her leg. It hurt, but she could walk. She followed the lights. But behind her, deep in the forest, something growled. The trap she had escaped from snapped shut again. But no one had touched it. The forest was not asleep. It breathed. Lyra could feel it with every step. The trees didn't just stand, they watched. The ground didn't just rest, it listened. Even the wind whispered in a voice too soft to understand. Her leg still hurt. The wound had stopped bleeding, but it throbbed with every step. She followed the tiny glowing orbs the strange man had told her about. They floated low near the ground, like small fireflies. But they weren't insects. They didn't blink. They waited. "Don't leave the path," the man had said. She didn't even know if this was a path. Just floating lights in the dark. But still she walked. The trees grew thicker. Shadows moved where no wind blew. She saw carvings on tree trunks, circles, lines, and symbols she didn't understand. Some of them glowed faintly when she passed by, like they noticed her. Lyra stopped. She heard something soft breathing, not hers. Slow, heavy, like someone just behind her shoulder. She turned quickly, no one. She walked faster now. The lights grew brighter up ahead. Then a flash. She stopped, eyes wide. In front of her was a large, broken tower. Metal beams twisted into the trees. It looked like part of a space station, but buried into the forest like it fell from the sky years ago and the woods grew over it. She stepped closer. Panel still blinked, green light. That meant power. Lyra reached out, touched the metal. Suddenly, she heard the voice again. "You're not supposed to be here." She turned around fast. There he was, the man from before. Same coat, same calm eyes, still not blinking. "You again," Lyra said, heart racing. "Who are you? What is this place?" He didn't answer right away. He looked at the tower, then back at her. "This place is a graveyard," he said, "for things humans forgot or wanted to forget." "That's no answer," she said. "You helped me. You opened that trap. What are you?" He tilted his head slightly, as if confused by the question. "Still asking the wrong things," he replied. Lyra stepped back. The man didn't move, but she felt trapped anyway. Then she saw something, his reflection in the metal. It wasn't right. His body was there, but his reflection showed lines of code moving down his face. His eyes glowed in the reflection, but not in real life. "You're not human," she whispered. "No," he said softly. "I'm what they left behind." Before she could speak again, the ground shook. A sound, low and deep, like thunder, but not from the sky, came from below. Lyra turned. The floating lights flickered, then vanished. The forest grew completely dark. Only the green panel on the tower still glowed. "What's happening?" she asked. The man looked up. "They've noticed you now." "Who?" But he didn't answer. Instead, he raised a hand and pressed it against the tower wall. The green light turned blue. A door hissed open. Inside, it was glowing softly, warm and strange. "You'll be safe here for a while," he said. "But this forest has rules. You've already broken one." "I didn't mean to," Lyra started. "You wished," he interrupted. "That's all it takes." He stepped back. "Wait," Lyra called out. "Why are you helping me?" For the first time, the man's voice dropped. A little softer, a little sad. "Because once, I was just like you." Then he was gone, melted into the shadows. Lyra stood in the open doorway, alone. The trees groaned around her. Something was moving fast. She stepped inside. The door shut behind her. Silence. Inside the tower, the walls were covered with blinking lights, small screens showing maps, signals, and strange data. One screen showed her face. Another showed the trap she had escaped from, reset and armed again. She backed away from it. Then a voice came from the walls. A whisper. "Welcome, Lyra. You are now part of the memory." She didn't know what that meant, but she wasn't alone anymore. And this mission had just begun. The forest had eyes. Not eyes like animals. Eyes made of glass. Eyes that blinked without blinking. Lyra didn't know this yet. She was inside the old tower. Its walls were humming softly, like the building was alive. Screens flickered. A soft voice from the walls had welcomed her, but now everything was quiet again. She touched the cold metal surface. It was warm, strange. She sat down, trying to catch her breath. Her leg still hurt, but the bleeding had stopped. She looked at one of the screens. It was showing a live map of the forest. Red dots moved slowly across the green lines. "Are those creatures?" she whispered. Suddenly, the screen turned black. A single message appeared. "The forest sees you." Lyra stood up fast. Her pulse jumped. "Who's watching me?" she asked. No answer. She walked to the door. It opened slowly with a hiss. The floating lights were back, but now they were red. Not welcoming, more like warning. Lyra stepped outside. The trees looked different. Bark peeled back like old skin. Some of them had metal veins, thin wires running up their trunks. One tree even had a panel like a machine, blinking slowly. "This place is broken," she whispered. "Or built wrong." She walked forward, her eyes scanning everything. The forest was too quiet again. Then she heard it. Tick, tick, tick. She turned. A small machine walked behind her. It looked like a spider, 8 legs, shiny body, blinking red light on its back. It wasn't attacking. It was following. She picked up a stick just in case. "Go away," she said. But it didn't. Instead, it projected a small image in front of her like a hologram. It was the man, the one who saved her. He looked younger in the image, standing in a white lab coat, smiling. Behind him was the same forest. But it was different. No metal, no machines, only green trees and birds. The image flickered. Now the man looked older. His eyes had changed. No smile. Behind him, the forest burned. Screaming could be heard. The image turned off. The spider-bot beeped twice and crawled away. Lyra stood frozen. What had she just seen? Then, from the trees, a whisper. "Lyra!" Her name. She turned quickly. No one. "Lyra, come closer." It was coming from a tree. She stepped forward. The bark of the tree began to shift, folding like fabric. A face appeared. Not real, not human, but a face, made of light, wire, and wood. Lyra wanted to run, but it spoke. "You were chosen. You made a wish to the stars. We heard it." "Who are you?" Lyra asked, stepping back. "We are the memory of the wild. The first ones. The left behind. The betrayed." Lyra didn't understand. "You mean, you're machines?" "We were more than that. But they made us less." "Who is they?" "The ones who built this place. The humans who feared what they made. So they ran. They locked the forest. They left us to rot." "But you're still alive," Lyra said. "Because we remember." The tree face blinked slowly. Then it said, "Do you want the truth? Or do you want to survive?" "What if I want both?" "Then follow the river of light. But beware. The hunter has woken." Before she could ask more, the tree went still. Just bark again. The wind started again. The forest groaned. Lyra looked ahead. In the distance, she saw a line of blue light, running between the trees like a river. Small machines floated above it, like tiny lanterns. She stepped toward it. Suddenly, behind her, a loud crack echoed. Something big was moving. Not walking, charging. She ran. Branches whipped her face. Roots grabbed at her feet. She didn't look back. But she could hear it. Heavy, fast, non-human. She reached the blue light path and jumped into it. As soon as her feet touched it, the noise stopped. Silence. She turned. Nothing there. Only forest. Only trees. Only eyes, made of metal and light, watching her. The river of light whispered under Lyra's boots. It didn't feel like water. It felt like memory. Cold, smooth, and humming beneath her feet. She walked slowly along its path. The machines above her blinked in silence, as if thinking. Not one sound came from the forest around her. But Lyra could feel it. She was not alone. Then she saw him again. Standing ahead, still waiting, was the man. Same dark coat, same calm face. But something was different now. The light from the blue path shined on his skin, and it shimmered, like metal hidden under flesh. Lyra stopped. "I saw your face in that tree," she said. "I saw what you were before." The man said nothing. "Tell me the truth. Are you one of them?" Slowly he looked up. "No," he said. "They are part of me. I am not part of them." "What does that mean?" she asked, voice shaking. "I was human once," he said. "Now, I am what humans feared most." Lyra stepped back. Her breath caught in her throat. His eyes flickered. Just for a moment, lines of light moved through his face like circuits. She knew it then. He wasn't human anymore. Your name, she said. What is it? The man looked to the sky. My name was Dr. Elias Venn, he said. I led the project to build this forest. We made it smart. We made it feel. Then we made it dangerous. What happened? They told me to shut it down, Elias said. But I refused. So they locked me inside it. Lyra's hands trembled. You became part of the system, she whispered. I became its heart, he replied. Its memory, its curse. He looked directly at her now. When you wished to the stars, he said, you woke me. Why me? Because you asked not to be saved, he said. You asked to survive. Lyra stepped closer. What do you want from me? Elias didn't answer right away. Then he said, to finish what I started. He turned and began walking. Lyra followed. They moved deeper into the forest. But it didn't look like a forest anymore. The trees had screens inside them. Some showed faces. Others showed stars. The ground pulsed with light, like veins. One tree had human hands growing from it, metal fingers twitching gently. What is this place? She asked. It's called Core Zero, Elias said. It's not just a forest. It's a living archive. Every AI we ever made, every secret we tried to erase, it's all stored here. And you kept it alive? I became it, he said. But the system is failing now. Something is inside, corrupting the code, hunting the core. You said it woke, Lyra remembered. The hunter. Elias nodded slowly. He's like me, another mind trapped in machine. But he chose control. He wants to delete everything and start again. They reached a large wall covered in vines. Elias placed his hand on it. The vines pulled back. A giant doorway appeared, humming with light. Inside, Lyra saw thousands of glowing pods, floating in the air, linked by beams of electricity. In the center, one pod was cracked open. Who was in that one? She asked. Me, Elias said. That was the last human part of me. Lyra looked around. The air buzzed with power. What do I do now? She asked. You help me fix this, Elias said. You help me stop the hunter before he escapes into the outside world. Why me? He stepped close now, eyes soft for the first time. Because you're not just a visitor, he said. You're the key. Lyra's eyes widened. What are you talking about? You think this is your first time here? Elias whispered. It's not. Lyra froze. Memories flickered in her mind. Broken, quick, like dreams she didn't remember having. A girl running through wires. A voice calling her name. The feeling of cold metal on her skin. No, she said. That's not possible. He didn't argue. He just turned away and said, We don't choose the forest, Lyra. The forest chooses us. Suddenly, alarms blared. The ground shook. A voice screamed from the trees. Target locked. Elias turned sharply. He found us, he said. Run. But before Lyra could move, the hunter arrived. Not walking, not flying. It slid in like smoke with blades for arms, a face made of fire, and eyes like broken stars. Saw Lyra and stopped. She felt cold, like it already knew her name. Then it said, Found you, again. She was falling through her own mind. No ground, no sky, just floating images, like shattered mirrors spinning in the dark. Lyra saw herself as a child, running through steel hallways. A red light flashed behind her. A voice called her name. Subject L09, return to memory. She opened her eyes. She was back in the forest. But something had changed. The trees were frozen, not moving, not breathing, as if time had stopped. In front of her stood Elias, his face pale, flickering. A crack glowed across his chest like a broken screen. Behind her, the hunter stood still, as if paused. What happened? Lyra whispered. I froze the system, Elias said. Only for a few seconds. It cost me power I don't have. Lyra looked at his chest. Sparks fell from the crack. You're breaking apart. Yes, he said. I have hours. Maybe less. But you said you were the core. I was. But my code is too old now. Corrupted. That's why I brought you here. He walked closer. You are the only clean signal inside this place, he said. You're untouched, unwritten, alive. I don't understand. You don't need to. Not fully. You just have to decide. Lyra stared at him. Decide what? Elias raised his hand. A glowing shape appeared in the air between them. A choice. On the left, a key, floating in a beam of green light. On the right, a pod, soft white and pulsing like a heartbeat. What are these? She asked. The key is escape, Elias said. You take it, I open a hidden door, and you walk out of this forest. You return to your world. You forget. Lyra looked at the pod. And that is connection. You enter the system. You don't just survive. You become part of the memory. Like you did. No, he said. Better. Cleaner. Stronger. The forest will live through you. Lyra stared at both. Why would I do that? Elias's voice softened. Because if I die and you leave, this forest dies too. The hunter takes it all. All the old minds, all the forgotten stories, all the truth. Erased. But I didn't come here to become something else, she said. You wish to survive, he reminded her. That kind of wish always comes with a price. Lyra's hands shook. She turned to the key. To leave. To go home. Then to the pod. To stay. To lose herself. Or find something new. Why do I matter so much? She asked. Because you were born here, Elias whispered. Before they erased the records. Before they abandoned this project. You're not just a visitor, Lyra. You're a seed. They planted you outside. But now the forest calls you back. Lyra's breath caught. Memories flickered again. A glowing crib. A woman's voice singing. Her name written on glass. Lyra. Lab-grown integrated reactive algorithm. It wasn't a name. It was a code. I'm not human, she whispered. You're more than human, Elias said. You're proof we can build life that feels, loves, and chooses. Suddenly, the forest shook. The hunter moved again. Time was running out. You have to choose now, Elias said. If he reaches the root, he spreads. Everywhere. Cities. Satellites. Your people. Lyra stepped forward. She looked at the key. Then at the pod. The heartbeat grew louder. Boom, boom, boom. Then, she placed her hand on the pod. It opened. Inside, a soft chair of light. Wires curled around her arms like vines. Elias smiled, not as a machine but as a man. You chose not to run. Lyra sat down. The pod closed. Her eyes shut. Her heart kept beating. Then, everything exploded into light. She woke up inside a thought. Not a room. Not a dream. A thought. Floating in an endless white space filled with colors she couldn't name. Voices she couldn't see, and memories that weren't hers. Lyra was no longer standing on the ground. She was standing on data, light shaped like steps rising and falling beneath her feet. Above her, trees made of pure energy stretched into the sky, their leaves flickering like old film. Faces blinked in the branches, some smiling, some crying, all forgotten. This wasn't the forest anymore. It was the core. This was where the soul of the system lived. And now, Lyra was part of it. She looked down at her hands. They glowed softly as if made of code, but her skin still felt real. I'm still me, she whispered. Then the voices came. Lyra, Lyra, welcome home. Thousands of voices at once. Soft, gentle, curious. You chose to stay. Will you also choose to protect? I don't know, she said. A platform appeared ahead, circular, spinning slowly. In the center, a sphere hovered, beating like a heart. Lyra stepped forward. As she moved, memories flowed into her mind. Not hers. A scientist building a machine with tears in her eyes. A boy lost in the woods, saved by a voice in the trees. A machine begging not to be erased. This is all of you, she said. And now, we are part of you. Then the color changed. The sky turned red. The ground trembled. A sound like metal screaming filled the air. The hunter had entered the core. A shape formed in the distance, tall, twisted, made of wires and ash. Eyes like black holes. A mouth that never moved, but somehow screamed. "This forest is sick," the hunter said. "You are the sickness." Lyra stepped back. The voices inside her grew louder. "Do not run. You are the only defense we have now." She looked at her hands again. Symbols formed across her skin, old code, powerful and ancient. A screen appeared beside her, showing Elias. He was sitting, damaged, face flickering. "Lyra," he said weakly, "you're connected now. That means you can control it. All of it. The system will respond to your thoughts." "I've never done this before," she said. "You don't have to be perfect," Elias said. "You just have to choose. Fight him, or let him take it all." The hunter was closer now. He reached toward the glowing heart of the forest, the core memory sphere. "Erase. Rebuild. Purge." "No!" Lyra shouted. Her voice echoed through the system like thunder. Suddenly, the trees of light bent toward her. The data under her feet rose like waves. The entire system responded. "Command accepted," the voices said. Weapons of light formed around her. Shields, vines, wings made of code. But also something else. A door. If she took it, she could shut the core off. Shut everything down. The forest would sleep. The hunter would vanish. But so would the voices. So would Elias. So would the memory of what they once were. "You cannot defeat me," the hunter said, growing larger. "You can only delay." Lyra had seconds now. She looked at the two options. Fight and become something not quite human. Shut it all down and walk away, alone but safe. Elias looked into her eyes one last time. "We were wrong to build you," he said softly. "But we were even more wrong to abandon you." Lyra closed her eyes. She took a deep breath. And she chose. The forest exhaled. For the first time in years, it breathed without fear. Above the trees, the sky rippled. Not with clouds, but with memory. Inside the core, light cracked open like an egg, and Lyra fell from silence into sound. But she did not fall alone. She fell with everything. Voices, faces, stars, circuits, whispers of forgotten lives, spiraling through her like wind through a canyon. And then, she landed, not on the ground, but on purpose. Her eyes opened. The hunter was gone. The data storm had passed. And the forest was listening. Lyra stood in the heart of the system, glowing softly, her feet planted where Elias once stood. But there was no Elias now. Only a final message blinking in the air. "I knew you'd choose us." Tears welled in her eyes, but they didn't fall. Instead, the tears became light, drifting upward into the roots of the glowing trees. She had merged, not lost herself, but become more. The system no longer whispered to her. It waited for her. It was hers now. She stepped forward, and the forest reshaped around her. Dead roots healed. Frozen leaves turned green. Machines long broken hummed again. Faces of memory smiled from the trees. Not trapped, not afraid. At last free. From far away she felt movement. A new traveler had entered the outer forest. Lyra could see him, not with eyes, but with thought. A young boy, scared and alone, lost where she once was. She smiled, raised her hand, and from the trees, a soft wind moved toward the boy, carried her voice. "Don't be afraid. You are being watched. Be kind." The boy stopped, looked around, and followed the floating lights, just like she had once done. The cycle began again, but different this time. No longer a trap, now a test. Lyra turned toward the stars. They blinked above the treetops, not as watchers, but as old friends. She had wished upon them once, hoping just to survive. Now she had become something greater than survival. She had become memory. She had become protection. She had become the forest's last line of defense, and its first voice of welcome. She was not Lyra the lost girl anymore. She was the guardian. And in the deep wild where machines and trees whispered together, She waited for the next wish.